two wrongs make neither side right. Both sides are trying to convince you they are fighting the good fight, and they are not. Just moments ago, former President Joe Biden delivered his first speech in public since leaving the White House. My reaction? Why? What did this accomplish? He sounded fine. I'm sure the fringe and MAGA land is going to say it was AI or that, look, he's obviously brain dead. I don't buy it, but here's his message.
Fewer than 100 days, this new administration has made done so much damage and so much destruction. They've taken a hatchet to the Social Security Administration. Why are these guys taking aim at Social Security now? Well, they're following that old line from tech startups. The quote is, move fast, break things. My friend Governor O'Malley knows what they're really up to. He says, and I love his quote, they want to wreck it so they can rob it.
Look, for me, former President Biden isn't the issue. It is the lack of the Democrats having anyone else that is the issue, as well as the proposition he's trying to sell you that Trump wants to cut Social Security benefits. Says who? Cutting benefits would be politically perilous, and Trump knows it. Democrats, there are plenty of real problems with Trump's actions so far. Why make one up that hasn't happened? Has Trump messed with the program wrongly? Yes. The BS about millions of people over the age of 100 getting benefits. It's BS. Saying seniors and disabled people could no longer verify their identity over the phone was dumb. And when they were flooded with hate and realized that 40% of claims happen over the phone, they reversed course. Okay, that's Trump. All right, everything's a nail and he's a hammer. Doesn't always work out. Declaring migrants who are legally granted asylum as dead because they supposedly committed crimes or are on terror watch lists. You just don't want them to get the benefits. I get it, but it's illegal. They also declared some kids as dead in that rush to punish migrants and made them lose needed benefits. Haste makes waste. And no, this is not a one-off, it's a pattern, okay? Musk called Social Security a Ponzi scheme. It isn't. It's not a Ponzi scheme by definition, and it is a fundamental aspect of the safety net that makes America great. And then he stumbled on a list of migrants who were assigned Social Security numbers because they were authorized to work in the U.S., and he claimed they were receiving max pay and benefits despite no setting like that ever existing at the program. Look, I know MAGA folk keep telling you otherwise. Illegal immigrants cannot receive Social Security benefits, okay? Illegal immigrants can't. In fact, they contribute over $20 billion a year to Social Security and get no benefits. I don't have a problem with that either, but that's the fact. The truth, some immigrants, not illegal immigrants, some immigrants who are here legally and authorized to work here legally can eventually qualify to receive Social Security benefits, but the process can take up to a decade of working in the U.S. to receive benefits. It's an eventual thing, okay? They're getting it wrong. They're doing it on purpose. The point is, the truth is enough. You want to go after the administration for how they're painting Social Security in a false light? Fine. But we don't know of any plan to cut benefits. So don't trot out the ultimate senior citizen to say otherwise. Why? Because this makes Democrats no better than what they accuse MAGA of. And you're wasting the chance to have better ideas for the program. Like what? Raise the cap on wages that get taxed for Social Security, like you did for Medicare. You do that, there's no more issue for a generation. Democrats, be in the business of better, not just who and what is worse. Now to the other truth abuse. Here's the reality. President Trump was right to criticize what was happening during the Biden administration on the border. He was right to want to stop the flow of illegal entrants. He was right to largely stop it. Good for him. He is right to want to remove dangerous people from America. In fact, that is an unqualified good, period. But, how you do things in America matters. In fact, I would argue to you, it is all that matters. And you are being sold BS about this Garcia guy, okay? For me, he's not the issue. Due process is. John Adams. America should be a government of laws, not of men. Why? Because the rules have to matter most here, not personal preferences, not politics, not partisan allegiances. Justice Brandeis taught us the two most important words in the law are due process. It's what distinguishes America and makes her great. Just because you like the end result does not mean you can get to it by any means necessary. Again, not my idea. Benjamin Franklin. It is better to let 100 guilty men get away than let one man suffer. Why? Because that is the line, okay? That is the line between law and order and democracy to something decidedly less. My concern is that Trump is driving at something decidedly less. Case in point, Kilmar Garcia. If you're on Twitter or Fox or any of the MAGA media, you would think this Garcia guy is a known terrorist and gangbanger who was caught and returned to where he belongs, and the Democrats want him back. Great for Twitter, but totally twisted. Here are the facts. Garcia entered the U.S. from El Salvador as a teen in 2011 illegally. He was here for years, living illegally, working illegally for years. No known criminal record, okay? Is that unusual for a gangbanger? Kind of, but it could go either way. 2019, he's arrested at a Home Depot parking lot, looking for work. Allegedly, an informant told ICE that Garcia was a member of MS-13, the gang. The right points to a judge's order in a 2019 bond hearing after he was detained, saying it proves he's a gangbanger. Says it right in there. Look, I can highlight it. There was no hearing on the allegation. The judge in the bond hearing just took the government's word for it. When the government had to prove it, what happened? The government lost the case and didn't appeal. Did you know that? Garcia applied for asylum, didn't get it. But the judge did grant him a legal status called withholding of removal. What does that mean? It was from 1980. It was an extension of the Immigration Naturalization Act to get in sync with international law. Reagan did it. The judge, this is the meaning of the order. He did not find the government's evidence that Garcia was a gangbanger compelling. They found, the judge, that Garcia had a reasonable fear that gangs would harm him if he was returned, and decided that he was not a danger to the public, so he was allowed to stay and work. I am not referring to Garcia as the Maryland man, okay? He is from El Salvador. He came here illegally, period. You don't have to like how he came here. You don't have to like him. I'm not saying he's a good guy. I have no idea. Maybe a bad guy. I don't know. But he is here legally, okay? Now, is it a weird legal kind of limbo? Yeah, but he's here legally. The Trump team knew about this order and deported him anyway. That is the truth. They admitted it. They call it a mistake. Now they don't want to correct it. If they think that Garcia is a gangbanger, they should prove it in court and kick him out. They did not do that, and that is un-American. It's not me saying it. It's the Supreme Court saying it, the court that Trump picked the majority of, 9-0. Do you know how rare that is with this court? Now, why his guys are saying they won, I don't know. My best guess is Stephen Miller thinks you're an idiot, that he thinks you guys are a bunch of lemmings and you'll believe whatever they say. The fact is his own people admit they deported the guy wrongly. Now, look, I get the optics. Who wants to argue in favor of bringing the gangbanger back? Okay? Hey, but you know what? That's the law. And either you respect it or you are lawless. I get that politically you got the high ground. I'm sure I'm getting my butt kicked on MAGA media right now. I'm sure. That's easy. You want it easy, you don't get a democracy. Okay? You want it easy, you don't have law and order. You got to choose your hard in America. It's hard to respect due process, but it gets really hard if you don't. And if you don't respect the law, you deserve no respect. Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, Click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.